Hey everybody, this is Darren here. We are at the Capitol right now. It's not much of a protest at this point in time. It's supposed to start here in a few minutes, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like much of anywhere near the turnout last time. So I don't know if we have a bunch of late arrivals. Got quite a bit of media here. We've been doing interviews with people. But so far, we don't have a whole lot going on here yet in terms of numbers. There's there's some. I think they're going to be packing in late today, but we know that Facebook has been censoring a lot of the protest pages. They've been taking them down everywhere. So we're could have hurt a little bit in getting the numbers out or the word out. This is the situation right now. Interviews have been being conducted with the media. Some of that's still going on. We have one counter protest. So there's our counter protester right there.
Stuff like that. And they want to say it's a very good group of people. I know what that sure makes sense. I don't know if they still do. Yeah, these days with the full body scanners, it's probably a lot easier. And they have to place my shoulder, they can see it. And that's right. It's insane. Absolutely insane.
Always have their eye in the sky there. I think that's the state police up there. A hard time getting this thing to zoom out. There we go. Yeah, so it looks like people are starting to show up. They're just showing up a little bit late today. It's supposed to be bad weather. I mean, I'm surprised it's not raining right now because the forecast had it raining right now. It's supposed to pretty much, I think, rain all day, the rest of the day. And the temperature is kind of chilly out here today. We've had bad weather for every single one of these things so far. Here's the scene right now. Little more crowded than it was before, but nowhere near at this point yet what it has been in the last protest. So if you're in the area, come on down. Just make sure you bring an umbrella if you come, because it's starting to rain right now.
I didn't see it, but you told me. I was in your school. Yeah. I said, crap. I said, then you need to isolate the people that have it. But why are you? We have to be around. We have to. We can't hear people. I had cancer last year. Dear God, I should have gone. Like yourself. Yes, I you spend all the time. All the time. All the time. All the time. She talks about the place I went to. I only got 5 masks for the duration of a shift, and you got to change it now every room. And I couldn't. They wouldn't let me. I didn't get sick. Exactly. They're throwing lies because I got
But it really doesn't look like it's all in the reporting and the editorial.
Oh, look, guys, we have a drone up in the air. Somebody is flying the drone. Get it in focus. Ah. Anyway, it's up there. So people are still packing in right now. Looks like we're going to have a turnout after all. The police presence is about the same. Somebody was asking about the police presence. I'd say it's about the same as it has been before. They're riding around on bikes and
Hey guys over there talking about guns, wanting to argue amongst yourselves. Why don't you come over here so we can get to business? My name's Angie, by the way. How are you guys this morning? We're a little bit late starting. I guess there's some people caught in traffic. I'm not quite sure why. There's not a lot of traffic out there, right? So I just wanted to say something really quick because I heard an argument back there. People having an issue with some guns or something. Did you guys know that the governor here tried banning our Second Amendment rights from our public building? Did you guys hear that? Yeah, me too. I'm kind of wondering what she's thinking. But I figured I would talk to you guys because we're not here to argue amongst ourselves. You, me, and all you guys out here are here for the same reason, correct? Right? Ladies back there, I know you guys don't like guns sometimes, but you know, sometimes we don't like things that we just don't like. I don't like spinach. So, but here's the problem. Okay, every one of us out here has a Second Amendment right, correct? You guys look like you're pretty decent folks. You don't look like you're fighting. Right? But we are here to argue against something else, aren't we? Don't we all want to go back to work? Hey, Governor Whitmer, are we going back to work anytime soon? Do you think she'll come out and talk to us? She probably won't. She probably doesn't even know what the Second Amendment really is, does she? Hey, did you guys hear about this? She had one of her attorney general. Did you guys know the attorney general is our top law enforcement agency in Michigan? I thought if they were law enforcement, they would like uphold the Second Amendment because that's kind of what those guys do. Did you guys know that? Yeah, she hasn't been doing a whole lot. You guys got any questions? What the heck? Like, you guys heard me plan about her getting us back to work at all? At all? Yeah, she likes to put in. Let's fix those damn roads, shall we? Doesn't look like she's doing much fixing, other than fixing herself in her office behind her desk and hiding from us. That's nice. So anyways, I was thinking, did you guys hear that she's trying to like cut funding to our law enforcement now? Did you guys hear that?
No.
Do you guys want to know the problem we have here today in Michigan? We have a governor, Governor Whitmer, has no clue what she's doing to fix our state. She's also been in office for a lot of years. Did you guys know that? She's been a part of the problem for many, many, many years. I think well over a decade. She's held office here in Michigan. And now all of a sudden she wants to start backpedaling and talking all about how she's actually going to fix the state, even though she's been trying to fix the state and not doing a very good job for a long time. I have a problem with that. I live here. Anybody else born and raised in Michigan?
Yeah, all right.
Born and raised? Who live here in Lansing? Anybody? Oh, wow. So you guys are out of towners then, right?
Yeah.
I grew up way up north in the Thumb, but I've been here for about 20 years. I want to introduce myself a little bit. I spent a long time on the City of Lansing Police Department. Okay, my background is law enforcement, investigations, and I've been doing a lot of investigating on her
All right.
and our government. Why am I wearing a mask? One, because I like the way it looks. It's the one time in my life I can actually wear a mask and walk into a bank and they're like, you actually can't come in without a mask. It feels like that's what's happening here anyways. I mean, she's robbing us, the people, so I figured I'd look like a bad guy apparently because that's what we are to her. I'm not important enough to go back to work, and neither are any of you. Did you guys know she's been dragging her feet on this for how long now? How long have we been shut down? Anybody got count?
2 months.
2 months already? Right. So my background is law enforcement, and I'm not up here for my health. I've been actually fighting these guys for a long time, for something different than going back to work. My little girl. What's that? Me? I'll take over today. In fact, I want her arrested. Don't you guys? I'm not kidding. Like, practically applying legal law, criminal law, to Governor Whitmer applies for her just like it does out here for us. Right? If we were to start bickering and fighting over guns again over there, I'm sure that somebody would come in and break it up and probably drag you to jail. She's done far worse. She has neglected our state criminally when it comes to not only violating our rights and Second Amendment, but I have very clear knowledge she's violated criminal law in ignoring crime on little kids. My daughter is one of them. Okay? She's been missing for quite a long time. And I've been searching for her fighting the state government longer than you guys have been out here standing. And my daughter is still nowhere to be found. These are things that the Attorney General's office knows all about. The safety of little kids comes first in every state, yet she likes to put it last and not speak about it at all. Child abuse. In this state, I've done investigations on the Attorney General's office here in Michigan. Things they've been neglecting for you guys here in Michigan, and that includes Flint. There are people in these elected offices right now that should be in handcuffs, dragged to jail for neglecting not just here in Lansing, but they've neglected Flint. They've neglected a lot of other places here in Lansing, not just us. And here's something else I want to tell you guys. You're not out here just for you. Did you know that? There's a ton of other states that are gathering just like this with governors just like her saying, hey, put us back to work too. Apparently they get on the phone with each other and they're like, hey, what are you doing up there? You want to close down your state like I'm closing down my state? Let's ignore this together. I'm kind of curious why. Okay, she's been breaking the law for quite a long time, along with her Attorney General's office. But then she wants to put me out of work where I'm going to I pay child support. Anybody else pay child support? We got child support parents out here? I pay child support for my kids. I've been financially responsible for my kids since they've been born. Anybody been financially responsible for your kids since they've been born? That's pretty much what I do. Okay? And because I'm out of work now, I'm just waiting to be dragged to jail. Hey guys, I probably have warrants. If you want to come drag me to jail, you can take Governor Whitmer with me. I'll share a cell with her. As long as she gets her criminal charges, I'll go sit with her and have a chat. Yes. Explain to her what criminal law is. She should be under arrest, period, for criminal negligence when it comes to the state of Michigan. Did you guys know that's an MCL, actual criminal law, that you can practically apply to any elected official and or governor in the state of Michigan? That goes for any office anywhere. So what I would like to know, Governor Whitmer, I'd like to know how exactly they get away with breaking the law. Her name is Whitmer? Whitmer? Governor Whitmer? Dimwit, can you come out here? Talk to us a little bit.
I know. Every time we're snowing.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming out in the rain today. I'm Wendy Darling. I'm one of the founders of Michigan United for Liberty.
All right. Yeah.
Sorry, we're running a little bit behind today. People hit some construction, so I'll just briefly tell you guys about how our organization came to be. I'm a single mom and a small business owner. Oh, here's one of our other co-founders, Erica. Thank you. So when this lockdown started, the University of Michigan closed. I lost 95% of my income that day alone because everyone was either going back home, all the college students or the professors were going to be home and didn't need me anymore. So I fell into pretty deep depression after that, honestly. And I was just crippled, and it was like, we're stuck in our houses. I can't even protest, and what do we even do? And I was just lost. And things kept getting worse and worse. chiropractors were being shut down, law offices, all these, in my opinion, essential services. So I was watching everything shut down in an illogical manner, and it was starting to wake me up. And then, oh, we got some feedback there. Executive Order 2020-24, I believe it was. There's been like, I don't know, I think we're up to almost 80 now, so I'm starting to lose count a little bit. Woo! So that was the one that said that non-essential driving would be a misdemeanor, up to 90 days in jail, and a $1,000 fine. And I had a bunch of friends, including myself, that were really freaked out by that. And one of my friends' son has autism, and they were like, he needs to be able to go for rides. All right. Step back. What are we doing here?
It's just for the back of the speaker.
Okay. All right, there we go, back on. So the fear that was put into people for not driving, my friend with the son with autism was fearful. If he's craving sensory stimulation and needs to go for a ride in the car, am I going to face jail time and a huge fine? That's terrifying. I also have a friend who's in a wheelchair, and it was like, all right, the weather's still horrible. I need to get out of the house. Am I allowed to go for a drive? You know, it was just terrifying, and that was my breaking point. I am a domestic abuse survivor, and it was just horrifying thinking about all the people who are still stuck in abusive relationships, stuck in their house, and they can't even go for a drive to get a mental break. So that was my breaking point, and I was finally done just sitting around complaining and being pissed off, and I was ready to take some action. So I happened to see that in Los Angeles they were doing caravan protests. So I was like, all right, that's our loophole. They were doing it against some immigration issues there, and I said, all right, let's put a caravan protest together. So it really came together within like 3 days. This was our first protest, April 7th, we were here. And what happened was we actually were in communications with our attorney, who advised us that an on-foot protest would actually give us more rights. So under our recreational clause, we were allowed to be out for a walk. So we switched from a caravan protest to an on-foot protest, and about 40, 50 people showed up that day, which doesn't sound like a lot of people, but we weren't sure if we were going to get arrested. We weren't sure if we were going to be fined. So everyone that showed up that day was extremely brave, and I'm so proud of everyone. And that gave the green light to the nation. Next came gridlock. The nation started protesting. Now the world is protesting. So what we stand for, man, why is it always rain when we're here? This is so frustrating. But I don't know, I guess it's springtime in Michigan. You never know what you're going to get. So I still cannot get unemployment. I have been fighting with that for, like 6 weeks now. My legislators have finally heard my cries and are going to try to help me. So if you are having problems getting unemployment, contact your state representative and your state senator and tell them. They contacted me. This was on a Saturday morning at 7. I was calling unemployment nonstop, getting hung up on. And that's just demoralizing. Like, I'm a single mom. I need to feed my son. And it's just terrifying. Like, I've got no income coming in right now. And the system is in place to get people declined from getting the money that we have been promised. And Governor Whitmer doesn't answer the phone. She didn't hire more remote people to answer phones for her. She doesn't want to hear from her constituents. She doesn't want to work with the legislators. She's acting like a dictator and breaking the law, but we've already been talking about that quite a bit. So if you contact your legislators, they have some back channels that they can advocate for you and get your case fast-tracked with a caseworker. So I'm hoping to hear something by next week, finally, they're saying. So if you're having problems, you can email us at info@michiganunitedforliberty.com. If you are a small business owner like myself, or a medium business owner that hasn't been deemed essential, quite frankly, we're ready for Michigan to open. Who's with me on that one? Open up! Open up! Open up! Open up! Open up! website. We have information on there. If you also email us, you take the pledge to open your business. We have attorneys that have pledged to help people with that process. I know we've all been watching the barber Carl, and he's been spearheading this movement of standing up to the governor. And I don't know if you guys saw, she took his license away. That was totally illegal without due process. The court ruled in his favor, but she's being a dictator, so she said, poof, license gone. She can't do that. We're not going away. Our Facebook page was removed this week. Our Facebook group was removed this week. We're getting nonstop death threats. It's just absolutely ridiculous, the censorship that is happening, because we have been labeled as right-wing racist terrorists, okay? And that is furthest from the truth. We are peaceful people that we just want Michigan to open now. That's what we are here for. You know, the media can say this is a Trump rally because they don't have any other way to spin this. It's not good for the narrative to show, wow, like for example with gridlock, 100,000 angry constituents showed up to show their support for opening Michigan. That's not a good headline for the liberal media. So we have to spin it some way. So, oh yeah, let's turn them into a bunch of rednecks. All right, thank you. We're still showing up. We're not going away. We won't be bullied. We won't be harassed. We won't be intimidated to going away. All right. We're not going away until Governor Whitmer either resigns from office, is impeached, is recalled. That's what we want. We want Michigan to open. We have our day in court kind of tomorrow. If you haven't been following our lawsuit, we filed a suit. If you're familiar with the 1945 Act, that is the one that she is acting under right now unconstitutionally, that she's just become a dictator. So our lawsuit is big picture, endgame stuff. So we need that act to be gone, because they're saying already, oh yeah, there's gonna be a second wave of this. So she can't do this every time. This is just unbelievable. So we need that act to be removed. And tomorrow by 5 p.m., she has to prove standing for why the judiciary branch should be closed down. If you guys didn't hear about that, we filed our lawsuit, I believe on April 21st. The next day, she did Executive Order 2020-58, which closed the judiciary branch. She has now absorbed both the legislative and the judiciary branch. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely insane. So we filed an emergency motion to expedite things. The judge could have said, no, I agree with her. The judiciary branch should be closed. But instead, he said, all right, Whitmer, you have until May 15th at 5 p.m. to prove standing that the judiciary branch should be closed. So that is going on tomorrow, as well as the Republican senators are going to have their virtual hearing tomorrow. We have filed a brief in support of that. If you are with any organizations, that would be a great thing to do today. Call your attorney friends and get some support out there for that. The Democrat senators filed a brief in support of Governor Whitmer on that case. So we really need to show our support with the Republicans. I myself am a libertarian, but the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So the Republicans are having our backs. So the legislators are kind of not doing as much as I would like, not gonna lie, but they are more on our side than the Democrats have been proving. So we've got our day in court tomorrow. So Judgment Day, we are here. We are talking about the many missteps of Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Starting, if you've been following our Facebook page, we started at March 9th, I believe is the date, where she held a political rally for Joe Biden in Detroit, Michigan. Thousands of people came to a high school in Detroit. The next day is when she declared a state of emergency. So why is she also let the primary election happen that day, but right when the polls closed, guess what? We're in a state of emergency now. That makes no sense. Other states canceled their primaries. Other states were already watching the World Health Organization statements, the CDC statements, what other countries are doing. But Governor Whitmer is trying to become the vice president of the country, so she essentially created a hotspot. All right, we've got the hotspot in Detroit, and she gathered a ton of people there. So then she does the stay-at-home order, and then the information about social distancing comes out, and she's still not social distancing. She has been a hypocrite every step of the way. She is just not doing what she preaches, okay? I'm just going to kind of skim over it. There's been so many missteps moving forward in the timeline. She has also put in her order that the elderly needs to be returned to their nursing homes, so there's creating outbreaks in there. And that is the at-risk population. Boo indeed. We can't even visit our elderly family members, but she's allowed to create hotspots in the nursing homes. This makes absolutely no sense. No sense at all. So follow our Facebook page. There's a lot of other missteps that I'm probably forgetting right now. Quite honestly, public speaking is not really my forte, but we've got some more people coming up that are going to touch on this as well. But we're not letting up. She needs to resign or be impeached, or once this quarantine's over, the recall effort will be in full force. A recall would be amazing. However, the office that needs to get that started, she closed. So go figure. The recall can't quite start just yet. So we're putting the pressure on the legislators. The lawsuit's not enough. Impeachment. We also have some other exciting announcements on ways to hopefully get this moving along quicker, but you'll have to go to our website, MichiganUnitedForLiberty.com/join, and sign up for our email list, because we did make a second Facebook page, Michigan United for Liberty 2.0, but that's going to be taken down soon too. The smear campaign from the Detroit Metro Times, they're going to be on us. It's going to be gone. I'm probably going to be kicked off Facebook. This is virtual book burning. So right now, our email is the safest way to keep in touch with all the work we're doing. We're not the smallest, or I'm sorry, we're not the largest group, but we are taking long-term real action here. And we're not just going to be doing protests and, here for Facebook followers and stuff. We are doing long-term, big picture stuff. So I thank you all for braving the rain to get out here today. This is nasty. I'm so sorry. But thank you all for being here. The website again is MichiganUnitedForLiberty.com. USA! USA! USA!
Wendy? Hey guys. Andrew again, how are you? Sorry, I'm squeaking at you. So I wanted to mention something that she just spoke about that lawsuit. Do you guys have any idea how long she can bog that down? Do you guys realize that Flint has been waiting 6 years for help with their lawsuits? What I want to know is why the Republicans, or our workers in there, have not called for a vote of no confidence for our governor. That bypasses all lawsuits. Period. By law. Just so that you guys are aware. I want to know if our representatives have filed or called for a vote of no confidence, so we can replace her today. I'll take her place. I'd be happy to talk to you guys about your concerns. I have a lot of actually really good ideas. She doesn't. About getting people back to work. Staffing our essential workers like the folks you see around here in uniforms. Our firefighters, our police officers, our essential workers. How many of you guys are nurses? Medical field? Anybody? I don't hear her talking about anything. No plan at all. Out loud, other than, oh gosh, a coronavirus is going on. Well, here's what I'd like to ask her. And I'll be the one to volunteer. I have not ever in my entire law profession, because that's what I did for a living, ever seen stacks of bodies in our state. This is not about a coronavirus. This is about the governor figuring out that, oh crap, we really screwed up, we don't know how to fix it. That's what it is, about getting us back to work. Okay, so I want to know why they haven't called for a vote of no confidence. And get this done within a couple hours, and I'd be happy to stay and work. I mean, that is the point of this whole thing, is getting us back to work, right? I have a plan as far as Michigan to help with this whole thing, including criminal justice reform. Where to cut the fat and trim fat. In fact, I think she makes way too much money for doing nothing. I don't see her taking a pay cut. I don't see her calling unemployment either. replaced. It's not about spending years in a lawsuit. She needs to get out of our house if she's not going to do the job and let somebody that's going to do it. So I'd like to know why there was no vote of no confidence filed for this lady. Because there's some very important stuff in these offices right now, including the Attorney General, that's being ignored. Not just you guys not working. Major crimes that they know there are people in this building liable for. What's up, guys? I don't know who you are, but hi. I know a lot of people around here, but I'm just saying, she does not have any priorities. Her eyes are not even on Michigan. Her eyes have been on Washington since she sat in that seat the first time. I want to be your vice president. How about you focus on Michigan first? That would be a really nice thing. Especially the capital area. I mean, it is only the capital city. Let's see, Governor Whitmer, your guys' administration has let Detroit fall. We've let Flint fall. I guess it's Lansing's turn, and Governor Whitmer's going to head it. Is that what we're trying to do here? She screwed up the entire state. There are many departments and systems in here that need to be fixed, and not 3-4 years down the line when somebody else gets elected. She needs to get out now so we can start fixing it now. We don't have time. We do not have time, Michigan, for her to be like, well, maybe in 6 months we can take care of this. You guys see that they want to extend this whole thing through September? We don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. I'm sure you guys have a lot of better stuff you probably do than having to come down here and tell the governor to do her job. So why doesn't she get out now, call for a vote of no confidence, get the majority vote in there? Oh, they didn't show up for work, I forgot. They're all hiding away at home. Did you guys know that this is our house? And that's why I have a problem with this governor. Okay, there's a lot more people in this state than just her. In fact, I'm a very big advocate, I've told you this before. A couple of those cases, many of them in the Attorney General's office, that the governor is very well aware of, are very severe child abuse cases in Michigan, and she's just kind of turning a blind eye. Do I need to get off the microphone? I'm just saying. But that's what I'd like to know. Does anybody know if they've called for a vote of no confidence? Anybody? Have they done this yet? Hey, people in there, elected officials, have you called for a vote of no confidence for this governor that doesn't know what she's doing? What was that? Oh, the people that we've already elected, like Mike Bishop and all these other people that have been, campaigning around our area for years and years, all they have to do is stand up in their chambers and be like, hear ye, hear ye. We're calling for a vote of no confidence. As long as we have a second and a third backing that up, they can put it for a vote today.
All right, do it.
I'm not sure. I don't know how to do that. I'm not in there. I'm sure they probably have the doors locked on me, but I'm just saying, they do have the ability to do this. And it's very clear that she's not trying to quicken us getting back to work. Back to that. Remember when I told you about that virus and how horrible it is? I will volunteer to go take a look at all these bodies stacked up to make sure it's not bullshit. I've seen a lot of death in my life. I have no problem doing that with my profession. I'd like to call her out on her bluff. That's what I'd like to do right now, and I am. And I don't see anybody out here saying, hey, yeah, come here. Let's go show you all of these things.
Let's go.
I've already asked a couple times to actually go down to Detroit to go and verify her bullshit. And there has been no word from me. I make a ton of phone calls every day. Do you guys? Who can't get a hold of unemployment? Is there a lot of you? Yeah, I've tried that too. And, they do hang up on you. You literally cannot get through to a person, no matter which state office you call. And I've been calling nonstop for probably about 3-4 weeks now. Before that even. And they just don't return phone calls. You can leave a voicemail, but they still won't return your phone call. And the only way this is going to stop is to get her out.
All right.
See what I'm saying? And let's push forward in a positive direction. All I keep hearing is, well, it might go through June. Now I've heard September. Maybe we'll just go into 2021 being shut down. And by the time that all of you get to 2021, you'll no longer have your house, your cars, your family, your farm, because all of you will be out of money and trying to figure out what to do. So what I say is call for a vote of no confidence. I guess if they want to play this political game instead of arresting her for the crime she's committed, but I guess if they don't want to arrest her for the crime she's committed, can we at least get her out of our office? That's just common sense to me. I think there's somebody. You right? We got another speaker over here, but I'm hoping to talk to you guys again sometime soon. I've got a lot of information in regards to how we can help this state, like right now. Quick turnaround. You guys ever hear about the criminal justice reform? Can I tell you guys one of my ideas that'll help the state right now? And I have a lot of experience in this world. The justice system, the one she wants to ignore the whole time. Okay? Criminal justice reform in Michigan is very much needed. Do you guys have any idea how much money we not spend on our public safety out here? And instead we're dropping millions, and I'm talking millions, on correctional facilities. And I have firsthand knowledge to know that there are people in this state, because I work on both sides of the law. I work on your guys' side, and also the people who've already been wronged. And they're still waiting for the Attorney General's office to do something too. There's a lot of funding that goes to our correctional facilities right now that can be trimmed down a lot, and that money reallocated to our first responders to get people back into work, to fund maybe unemployment that's lacking. Yes, ma'am? Okay, I guess he wants to talk now, but call for a vote of no confidence, people. Can you get on the phones and call him right now? Shoot.
Thanks everybody for coming. Good thing you heard about this event. No thanks to Facebook. It's pretty incredible that social media, which is the new public square, gets to enjoy the privilege of being able to censor all the content and also not be liable for everything that's posted on their websites. They get to have it both ways. Pretty amazing that they're shutting down groups simply for exercising their constitutional rights to free speech and dissent. But luckily, it seems some people still heard about this event. And I'm glad y'all weren't bullied or browbeaten or intimidated by Gretchen Whitmer into not coming. There were rumors before, during, and after the last protest they were going to arrest everybody and there was going to be chaos, and everything turned out fine. And it looks like we're having a fine day today as well. So thank you all for braving the weather, braving the governor's bullying orders, and coming out to express your dissent, as is your constitutional right to do so. Thank you all for being here. Our message, of course, is to end the lockdown now. No emergency powers statute can overturn the state constitution or the Constitution of the United States of America, both of which guarantee our right to free speech and to assembly. And you may have heard we had a great victory in Wisconsin yesterday. The Wisconsin Supreme Court struck down the governor's executive orders there, and sooner or later, a court in Michigan, if not the federal circuit, if not the U.S. Supreme Court, is going to do the same thing in this state as well. Because if the courts were to uphold the governor's orders, the Constitution would be meaningless. There is no more extreme exercise of state power than telling people they can't leave their homes, they can't go to work, they can't get within 6 feet of one another. And even if the only concern was public health and not the devastation to our economy that is happening with every passing day of this lockdown, it's not healthy to be sitting at home staring at 4 walls in isolation for months on end. It's not good for people. So we're very hopeful that we're going to have a successful outcome in the courts. And there's something else you may have heard about as well. Did you hear the announcement that Congressman Mitchell is pursuing a citizen-enacted law to repeal the governor's 1945 Emergency Powers Act? Which, if you don't know how that works, if we collect enough petition signatures, the legislature can repeal that law, and it would not be subject to the governor's veto. So thank you all for coming out today, for demonstrating that we are not going to sit at home staring at 4 walls, that we are not going to be intimidated, that we are not going to be silenced. And unless the Democrats want President Trump to be president indefinitely, there will be an election in November, and there will be a reckoning for the policymakers that have engaged in the most destructive acts in our American history. So, oh, the weather's getting even better now, huh? So we are going to be engaging in that political activity, that constitutionally protected political activity that involves talking to your neighbors, might even involve knocking on their doors, and even from home you can always pick up a phone and talk to people and let them know that this is the most extreme takeaway of our rights in our history, that this is devastating to our country and to our economy, and we can't let this go on any longer. So right now we're here in Lansing one more time for this event because we have to show the governor one more time that we are not going to be intimidated by her threats. However, the real work between now and November is not going to be here in Lansing. It's going to be right in your own neighborhoods. We need all of you to become precinct leaders. We need you to be the one that lets your neighbors know how your representatives vote or fail to vote. You need, sorry? MichiganUnitedForLiberty.com. Facebook can't take that website down. So please do go there and sign up. We were going to bring clipboards, but the weather didn't make that possible. But Facebook can't shut down our own website, and we need to be able to reach all of you in the coming months because there is going to be a lot of hard work to do to reclaim our state. So thank you for coming. Again, please visit MichiganUnitedForLiberty.com. Sign up so that we can contact you. We will be talking about the political work that it will take to take back our state. And that means getting to know your neighbors. That means being the go-to person in your communities for freedom, for free speech, and for restoration of Michigan's prosperity. So thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. We're going to continue to demonstrate for another couple hours here. Hopefully the weather clears up. Everybody be peaceful, be civil, obey the law, but not unlawful orders. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate you. All right. Got another gentleman here.
Our next speaker is Catherine Henry. She's going to come up and she's an attorney and she's fighting for you guys. There needs to be a couple of ways you fight this battle. Number one is being here. They're hearing you right now in Lansing, and that makes a big difference. A lot of people sit home and type on their keyboard. Catherine's typing, and she's taking care of the law side of it. Let's give a warm welcome to Catherine. She's going to give you an update of what's happening legally. Let's round of applause. Let's give it. Come on, let's hear it in the rain out there.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming out on a really crappy day like this. It says a lot that we're sticking together. Am I holding it too close? Okay. Many wonder why I'm coming here today. My friends, my family, my neighbors, they wonder why I'm here. Well, I'm here because I will not stand by idly while our governor, our attorney general, and several local prosecutors and law enforcement officers continually break the law. Sorry, guys. I am not here to advocate for civil disobedience. Civil disobedience is where you think that the law is one that shouldn't be enforced. I am advocating for civil obedience because the law is very clear. None of the governor's executive orders have any legal authority after April 30th. Thus, I advocate for Michigan residents to exercise all of their rights, to open their businesses, go in public without a mask if they choose, participate in social functions without a social distancing requirement, go to birthday parties, funerals, AA meetings. I am advocating for people to have discussions with their local law enforcement, prosecuting attorneys, and public officials to encourage them to follow the law as written, allowing people to exercise all of their constitutional and statutory rights without interference. All of the governor's 2020 executive orders are based on her emergency powers. However, that state of emergency and state of disaster ended as a matter of law on April 30th. While there are lots of other legal provisions involved, the main point is that both the 1945 Emergency Powers of Governor Act and the 1976 Emergency Management Act must be read together. You can't cherry pick the laws here. So, as required by the state statutes and the Michigan Supreme Court, you have to read all the laws on the same subject together. And as required by MCL 30.403, legislative approval is needed in order to extend the governor's emergency orders.
Yes!
But they did not choose to extend the last time I was standing on these steps on April 30th.
Woo!
So therefore, all of her executive orders lost their legal authority on April 30th. By attempting to continue exercising these emergency powers after April 30th, Governor Whitmer is breaking the law, MCL 30.403, and violating our state constitutional provisions that restrain her exercise of authority. Specifically, if you look in our state constitution, Article 3, Section 2, it prohibits a governor from exercising authority properly given to one of the other legislative or judicial branches. So, in other words, she is not allowed to enact laws all on her own. And that's what she's trying to do now.
Lock her up!
The governor and the Attorney General, Dana Nessel, have told us that the governor is allowed to just terminate one state of emergency and keep issuing a state of emergency as long as she wants to. That's not allowed under the law. There's nothing in the 1945 Act or the 1976 Act that allow her to do that. And as we all know, the governor or any government official cannot act without specifically being given authority to do so under our laws or under our Constitution. Many of these executive order provisions also clearly violate the rights guaranteed to us in both the Michigan and U.S. constitutions. MCL 30.421 requires executive orders and other emergency actions by the government to be done, quote, consistent with the provisions of the state constitution of 1963 and the federal constitution. Additionally, MCL 30.421 prohibits prosecutors from prosecuting any violations of these executive orders in any, quote, manner that violates any constitutional provision. Prosecutors are further prohibited by the First Amendment, further prohibited in the prosecution of these violations of executive orders from prosecuting, quote, conduct presumptively protected by the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. It says so right in our state law. This is not a carve-out for certain individual behaviors. This is a stern reminder to prosecutors on the restraints placed upon the government in trying to regulate us, the people. And that is even in the most heightened state of alert our state could ever experience. Attorney General Nessel claims legislator commentary created confusion among law enforcement officials tasked with enforcing these orders. And she claims that these orders are legal because they're so reasonable. But it is not reasonable to issue executive orders like they're going out of style, which last I looked yesterday was 80 executive orders in just over 2 months. And it's not reasonable to treat statutory emergencies like a mere term of art
instead of the actual urgent situations these emergency powers were meant to address. It is not reasonable for a governor to exercise powers properly belonging to the legislature, especially for longer than the statute allows. It is not reasonable to interpret MCL 30.403 to allow a governor to circumvent the 28-day time limit by simply issuing new orders that address the same emergency conditions of the original order. And it is not reasonable to think that this particular governor gets to unilaterally extend the state of emergency or state of disaster when none of the 87 prior declarations were ever extended without the legislature. It is not reasonable for executive orders to be issued based on selective compliance with statutory provisions. It's not reasonable to assume that the legislature enacted the entire Emergency Management Act in 1976 for the sole purpose of just deferring to these so-called broad powers in the 1945 Act. It is not reasonable to issue emergency declarations and terminations like a light switch just being turned on and off. It is not reasonable to issue or enforce executive orders that infringe upon our constitutional rights, especially when those rights are explicitly preserved in the language of the Emergency Management Act itself. Nor is it reasonable to enforce executive orders explicitly focused on, quote, keeping people away from each other, end quote, when those same people are guaranteed the right to assemble, collectively worship, express their speech, and petition the government. All of the executive orders by Governor Whitmer in 2020 are based on her emergency powers. And with an emergency lawfully ending on April 30th, all of those emergency powers came to an immediate end. Without such emergency powers, all of her executive orders became unenforceable as a matter of law. This includes the stay-at-home order, the order restricting non-essential medical and dental services, the order releasing prisoners early, the order canceling the rest of school for the year, the order cutting off kids in juvenile detention centers from their family and support services, the order closing movie theaters and gyms, and limiting restaurants to takeout service only, the order amending the Open Meetings Act and FOIA, the order allowing only restricted access to government services or to places of public accommodation, and every other order that has been issued this year. All individuals are therefore now legally allowed to travel, assemble, worship, conduct business, go to places of public accommodation, and exercise all of their rights without any attempt by law enforcement, prosecuting attorneys, or places of public accommodation to infringe upon those rights. All attorneys, law enforcement officers, and public officials took an oath to uphold the U.S. Constitution and the Michigan Constitution, and to faithfully support the laws of the state of Michigan. Therefore, any such person who attempts to enforce these executive orders is directly violating their oath of office, acting outside of the scope of their governmental authority, and engaging in malicious prosecution and abuse of process. As I've shared with the prosecuting attorneys across the state this very information, a few have actually replied and said things like, well, this is only an opinion. These statements are threatening to me, and only a judge's opinion matters. Well, the very words of our statutes and in our U.S. and Michigan constitutions are not opinions. It's the law of the land. And this is only a threat to those attempting to violate our laws and our Constitution. And if you plan to do that, then you better consider this a threat to your profession, because we're going to come after your profession if you're going to break the law. You can wait for a court to sort it all out if you want, but I won't. I did not get my rights from a court. I got my rights from the Almighty God, and our U.S. Constitution was written to secure those blessings of liberty, as stated in our preamble to our U.S. Constitution. And here, quote, we the people of the state of Michigan, grateful to Almighty God for the blessings of freedom and earnestly desiring to secure these blessings undiminished to ourselves and our posterity, established our state constitution of 1963. These liberties are meant to be exercised by all people, unabridged and undiminished by the very words of those constitutions, during times of emergency or not. So I am going to follow the law, the Michigan Constitution, and the U.S. Constitution, and exercise my rights now without waiting for permission to do so. And I urge you to do the same. Thank you, guys.
Woo, how about this weather? Thank you guys for sticking around. We have a young woman named Emma that would like to talk about how she wishes she was in school right now. So here you go, Emma.
Hi y'all. So I'm nothing much. I'm just an 8th grader. I live in Ada, Michigan. I go to Forest Hills Eastern Middle School. And earlier this year, we learned about the Constitution, the U.S., and how we should always fight for what we believe in. And now we're learning about the Emancipation Proclamation and how Abe Lincoln gave this amazing speech. And now, I'm giving a speech, but I would much rather be in school rather than having to wake up every day and get on a Chromebook. And I'm only supposed to spend 1 hour every day on screens. Now I'm spending 3. And I just don't think that's fair. And I think Gretchen Whitmer should come out here because I have something to say and I'd really like to talk to her. I think that we should all band together because I think this is it's a big joke. And I'm no comedian, but the funniest joke I heard this month is Gretchen Whitmer. So, you know what? Thank you so much. And yeah.
Thank you!
Oh, I love you. Now, one of our Michigan United for Liberty co-founders, Erica, is going to talk a little bit. Get you guys pumped up some more.
Hi, everybody. How you feeling? Wet? Yeah. Us Michiganders, some diehard patriots out here. We rain, snow, sleet, shine. We will fight for our freedoms. Woo! And we will tell Gretchen Whitmer, we will not stand for tyranny. We will fight for our rights. You will not keep us trapped in our homes. We will come out, as you can see. We don't care what the weather is like. We don't care if you're going to shut down the roads. We're here, woman. You won't stop us. We'll keep coming. So no matter what you do, no matter what you try, we'll still be here. Rain, snow, sleet, or shine. So, who says we should hold her accountable? Who thinks she should pay for the things she's done? Who thinks she should lose her money, her job, her career? Because how many people have lost theirs? We are saying enough is enough. We are through with your orders, and we are not going to just lay down and take it.
I will keep this country free!
Amen. I didn't practice a speech or anything, but that's just what I said from my heart, so here's Wendy again. Oh, just kidding, Matt's talking.
It's so great to see everyone here. We're all enjoying this wonderful weather. Whether it's great or whether it's drizzly, God is still there. We will persevere, folks. We just got to push on. This is a poem that I wrote last year, entitled Deliberate Unification of the People. Pontificating politicians and bureaucrats left and right will not take our freedom without a fight. Crooks and deceivers alike, tell them to take a hike. On a daily basis, they attempt to destroy our rights.
We must endure this battle to the greatest heights. All across this sacred land, patriots must take a stand. Trump may boast and brag, but it cannot be done with the people, without the people who support our flag. No man can do it alone if we are to see our liberty atoned. Then conquer we must when our cause it is just, and this be our motto, in God is our trust, as proclaimed by Francis Scott Key many years ago. When we hold this dear to our hearts, we shall achieve victory. We have no reason to hide with God and His glory on our side. So get out of your chair, take the dare, as the land is in need of much repair. Lamentation is spreading far and wide, but we must remain in stride. Celebration shall ring in pride with those with the courage for the ride. Without hesitation, we the people shall reclaim this nation. We must remain vigilant and succeed through aggregation. We the people are supposed to be in control of the government, not the other way around. We the people must be heard, or they will continue to do as they do without our sound. Stand up, be a voice of the people, by the people, and for the people. Remember, as long as you sit back in your chair, this legislature and these three buildings are going to continue to do what they do, and that is remove our liberty, one little piece at a time. It doesn't stop, folks. You've got to be here. You've got to encourage others to be here. I'm greatly amazed at how many showed up today with the rain. But we cannot stop. Keep it going. Thank you.
Thank you all. Hopefully this weather is going to move on. We've been looking at the radar, so hopefully the worst of it will be over soon. But now we have a small business owner who would like to speak to everyone.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for coming out here. Thank you. I'm just one of thousands of people across the state, so it's not me. I'm representing all the small business owners. I sold my house. I put all that money into my business. I worked from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. for 6 months to bring that thing to the point where it might be able to survive. And then to have it destroyed illegally by Governor Whitmer is just insane. And my business can open just as safe as any other business that's open right now. And the fact that I can't do it with small groups and with all the social distancing and a ton of hand sanitizer, I've even got a UV sterilization oven. And to think that I can't do that and that you can't choose to come. Now, of course, the people are taking care of somebody who's in at-risk category. They don't have to come. But let me be open for those who are. Let me be open for the families who are quarantined together already. Let's stop the insanity. Thanks for being here.
Technical difficulties, screen.
Here, take this on. Okay. What a privilege it is to be here amongst all of you, patriots. Thank you. I'd just like to take this time to say a word of prayer, and would you pray along with me? Father God, we praise you, we exalt you, we are so thankful that we live in America. We are thankful, Father God, that we have founding fathers who wrote and gave us the Constitution. We are a grateful people, and today, right now, we use our freedom of speech to declare that we appreciate the Constitution. We appreciate the gift that has been given to us, and we are going to protect it. We ask for your blessing, Father. And as we stand up for freedom, Father, I pray that we will also kneel before you. kneel before you, and then take a stand for righteousness. Your word says that if my people who are called by your name shall humble themselves and seek my face and pray and turn from their wicked ways, you will heal our land. And I pray that we will do that. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father, for this great nation that you have given us. We praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I am free. Was blind, but now I see. God bless America, and may we bless you, God. In Jesus' name, amen.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for standing for this country. I'm coming from Macomb County, Sterling Heights. I'm Jasmine Yearly, and I was not born in this country. But it saddens me what is happening here in these steps, in this building. I never thought that I would come to fight for this country, but the day that I became an American citizen, I took seriously what it is to be an American. This country is being taken over and we are tired. The virus is an excuse. I know people are dying. One of my friends died. But he died because the governor didn't do what she needed to be on time. His death is in her hands. I'm sick and tired of her threatening the people, telling them we are intimidating them when they are taking our rights away. Yesterday, she laid off thousands of people and said that it will go to July 25th. Excuses to call a crisis in the state when she could have stopped the crisis a long time ago. Thank you, everybody who is here, because you are the reason why they can do more than what they want to do. This is not a communist country. This is not Venezuela. This is not Cuba. This is not China. I dare the governor to come here and she will see that nobody is threatening her. Nobody is here to kill anybody. Nobody is here to tell her that they will go after her to do anything wrong. No, she is not doing her job. The people are here because she misled people. She misguided people. And we are tired. My husband found out that he's going to be laid off too. I haven't been able, my job is independent. I haven't been able to do anything because of her ruling. She's a dictator, and if she can come here, I will tell her that in her face. Because this country is not what she is saying. That I have been in every rally. Never a safer place to be than those rallies. The media misuse and misguide the people that are watching. I was surprised that I saw black and Hispanic. I saw Asian people here at the rallies. And what did she say? That we were racist. My grandmother is black. So no, there is no racism in our blood. The racism came from them, that they don't want to take care of the people that are standing here. For what? Because we need to work. Safely we can do it, but they don't want to do it. Why? Because if you come and bring a state to the crisis, nobody will be able to fight. That cannot happen in this state. And as I drive every time to this state, to these steps, I remind myself that this country is blessed, that I don't take it for granted, and I will fight to make it great. The way the president, the way the people that are standing here, not the media, because the media will go and say that we are the threat. No, we are not. America needs to stand up. Michigan needs to stand up. Macomb County needs to stand up. And we will fight the governor, and we will fight the legislators there that call us names, that call us haters. Remember, we have a big fight, and we will fight, not with guns, but with the law. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. I love you.
Hey everyone, I had somebody come up and ask me about where you can get information that I was just talking about, so I just wanted to let you know. The website stopcovidchaos.com is where I'm posting all the information. I have the laws, I have the full legal analysis on there, I have information that reveals the numbers from the CDC and the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and what the true numbers are. All of that information is available at stopcovidchaos.com. Thanks, guys.
God bless America. We can call legislatures, we can vote, we can do all that, but right now what we can do today, this minute, is all the people out there that are business owners or watching on TV or on Facebook, open your business now. Open the restaurants, open the bars, open the movie theaters. I know we can't control corporate America, but small business America needs to open up. Go to Kroger, don't put a mask on. I feel like I'm the only one there not wearing a mask. Defy her order by not doing it. It is not a law. She told you it's not a law. Open your businesses. That's what we can do today. This protest is about opening the businesses, getting back to work. Open your small boutique. Open your movie theater. Open it up. I don't see people doing it. How many Carl Mankeys are out there? 2 or 3? Michigan, wake up, America. Open all the businesses. You don't have to stay closed down. Everybody. I don't care who you are or what business you're in. Open your businesses. Amen.
Okay, I'm like on his side. I like that guy. Angie again. Sorry, I stole your mic again. I'm kind of down here because I'm tired of just talking. I really do want to see somebody come out of this building and tell us that they've already, gone through a vote of no confidence, because we could just take care of this today. Like he's saying, open up your stuff. The only way you can get her out is by don't do what she says, pretty much. She already has proven she doesn't care about the Constitution of the United States of America. So what makes you think she's going to care about any of us out here? So I agree with him. Open the businesses up. I think we're all big boy grown up people, right? We know how to wash hands, and so does everybody else, right? So I figured, if we're grown-up people and we know how to teach our kids how to wash hands, and so do we, why can't we just open them up now and just tell them to stick it? Pretty much. Just saying. And here's another thing, Michigan. We don't have time to wait till the next election. We won't have a state there if we wait that long, just so that you know. We will be 1,000 times worse off if she gets her way. So seriously, open up the freaking businesses. Tell her to stick it where the sun don't shine. Call for a recall or for a vote of no confidence. Get her ass out of the seat and let somebody else come in and do the job if she doesn't want to. I'm standing here today because I am more than willing to go and sit in that seat right now and fix some stuff like today. Do you guys want to know what she could be doing, but she's not? Can I tell you a really good example? All of you people out here, are any of you guys like certified in your job? Did you have to go through training and stuff? Me too. Only there's a lot of people that are unemployed right now. They're going to have to be recertified before they go back to work. She could be sitting at her desk signing papers, taking care of that right now, being like, here you go, essential worker, go back to work. I want to know what she's thinking and why she's not doing stuff right now that she can be doing. See, this is my point, people. She doesn't care. She needs to be out of that seat, is what she needs, and she needs to get out of our house. So, just my 2 cents a little bit more. Anybody else want to talk?
We need some Capitol Police and/or security personnel over here, please. We do not stand for racism, death threats, abuses. The media is going to portray us. There is some hate happening here, so let's please remember that we are taking pictures of that and having the one bad thing here. Come on, you don't need to do that. So let's get him away from the part of the stage and get back on topic, because that is sorry, you've been on here a lot today, so we have someone that's going to speak about the economy now and get back on subject.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. We appreciate it. It is alarming how the weather just isn't in our favor every single time. I want to know where all the business owners are. Because if you're a business owner, you should be here. And I second that guy that was up here. If you own a business, you should open that business right now, today. And if you don't own a business, you should be going to that business. If you're not hungry, you should go to that restaurant and order food just to take care of our economy.
For those who are coming here to get the media, this is what her side wants. Don't buy them back.
Ask for them a couple minutes ago. Capitol Police. Capitol Police, please come immediately to the front. We have
Hey, wait a minute. Excuse me.
Capitol Police. Capitol Police.
I gotta get my battery.
You can't do that.
This is what the media wants, and we are giving them what they wanted, but nope.
Please, Capitol Police, please. We have an issue. Can we have the police come up to the steps, please?
The issue's taken care of. The news is gone now.
Where are the cops? Capitol Police, City Police, where are you?
We have been here peacefully. Michigan United for Liberty has been here peacefully protesting 8 times since April 7th. We have had 0 issues. It's always kind of protesters that come here starting. So finally, they're here. This is good. Let's step away and give them some space, please. Please come back over to the stage, give them space to handle the situation, and let's get back on topic here. When I was speaking earlier, there was one very important thing that I forgot to bring up. Just a sec. Hi guys, in case you weren't standing there earlier, I'm Gretchen Whitmer, the attorney that's been trying to educate the public on what the state of our laws are. A little bit ago in my speech, I said that they better feel threatened by us if they're going to violate the Constitution, if they're going to violate our laws. I want to be very clear, though. I do not mean physical violence. I do not mean threats to people as a person or threats to their home or their family.
None of that is okay. I am not advocating for civil disobedience or not civil disobedience. I'm advocating for us to stand up for our rights. To take people out of office that need to be taken out of office. To sue them if they need to be sued. To go ahead and open our businesses when we have the legal and constitutional right to do so. But we need to be very clear that this is not a message of hate. It's not a message of anger. It's a message of freedom. Physical violence is not okay, and that's not what this group is about. There are a few extreme individuals that does not represent what we are about. So to any media out there that plan on twisting and turning the acts of one or two people and trying to make it seem like, again, this is a rally full of hate and anger and racism and everything else, you better check yourself and get the facts straight, because we are fighting for freedom. We are not inciting violence.
Thank you. Very well said. I'm pretty frustrated. We have been here peacefully protesting since April 7th, 8 times. On the 15th, some counter-protesters were arrested for throwing punches. That was people that were against people protesting to leave their house. They left their house to protest against us, and they are the ones that threw punches and got arrested. Did the media cover that at all? No, they did not. They got arrested, no media coverage. So when I was talking earlier about the timeline regarding the many missteps of Governor Gretchen Whitmer, it's kind of just going off the top of my head, but I'm going to read a little bit more. So March 9th, she attended the rally for Joe Biden in Detroit. March 10th, she allowed in-person voting for the Michigan primary. Later that evening, she declared a state of emergency. Okay, that makes no sense. March 12th, Whitmer announces all schools will close starting March 16th. Then the very next day, she banned gatherings of more than 250 people and asked the public to postpone meetings or conduct them remotely. But that same day is when Harvard announced social distancing measures would be needed to flatten the curve. 10 days later, she still was not socially distancing at all of her press conferences. So we're all standing around, losing our livelihoods, our kids' lives are being disrupted. No one's talking about that, however, and she's still not doing what she's telling us to be doing. March 23rd, Whitmer announced the stay-at-home order. March 25th, I'm hoping most of you guys heard about this, because here's another thing that the media kind of covered but didn't do a great job with. FEMA stated that the governor never filed the required paperwork to get funding from Michigan. That part, there was press coverage on, but this part, they didn't hit on, because she's busy doing a VP bid right now, trying to become the vice president. After 4 weeks of pointing fingers at the federal government for the coronavirus response, she finally filed the FEMA paperwork after 4 weeks of complaining about the handling of the situation. Would she have filed it if the Detroit Free Press hadn't posted the article saying, wait a second, she hasn't even filed the paperwork? But then that all got swept under the rug, and everyone just went back to business and fixed the narrative against us. So isn't it astounding that our governor isn't fit to lead, and she is trying to put all of us out of business while still getting a paycheck? I will not stand for this. Let me find our next speaker. Okay.
That guy who was out here was a counter protester carrying a racist flag with a noose and a naked doll on it. So, media, that's not us. He's arrested by the state police. He's a counter protester. Yeah.
Agents provocateur.
NBC, CNN, and all you out there, you're going to take all these pictures from all the other reporters, MSNBC, all of you. That is not America. That is not what we're out here for. We're business owners. We're citizens. We are Americans who want our rights back. That's not us.
Hey guys, I'm going to tell you something right now. What that guy did is called a hate crime. I don't give a shit who you are. Stop. Hold on. I want to talk to you about somebody else. There's other states in here, out here in the United States, that are doing the same thing we are right now. Do you guys know that? In other states. And I will not tolerate that. That is part of my First Amendment, right? Stop, please. Hate crimes are not tolerated in Michigan. End of story. Okay? Just so that you guys know, I'll fight that physically if I have to. Okay? So thank you, by the way.
We are being peaceful. We don't need profanity either.
Because these people want to know what the hell's going on. Oh my God, it's the whole fucking world.
What right do they have to talk because they're up here in my house and I pay taxes? That's what I want to know. Where is she at? She's in Florida. I am the vice president. What's telling you not to ask to get down here? They're on their own state. She don't have no business being anywhere else. She can't even run her state. This is nonsense.
Hey, listen to me. I want you to know that you have heard the documentation that this Whitmer is issuing illegal orders and trying to make them laws. You, by complying with illegal laws, are breaking the law. You gotta stop it. You cannot comply with illegal orders. They're wrong, they're illegal, they're against our Constitution. Listen, I'm a psychologist, and I've never seen depression and anxiety spike like it has in the last month. I have never seen anything kill worse than poverty, and this is what we're being driven to, is poverty, so the government can control you.
I hate this mask. I hate this mask, and I hate the fact that I feel I have to wear this mask because I work in a public sector. I will have my business destroyed because people don't understand what we're doing here. I'm not going to take it off, guys, but I have a message for you. I have a message for you. Civil disobedience and peaceful protests have worked in the past. I'd like to give you a quote by Henry David Thoreau in his great essay, Civil Disobedience. He said, in a society with unjust laws, the only place for a just man is in that society prisons. If you want to lock me up for practicing my First Amendment, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, or 14th Amendment rights, please go right here, put the cuffs on, and I'll see you in court. I'm constantly reminded of a quote by Jerry Garcia. He said, sir, thank you, sir. Jerry Garcia once said, someone has to do something. It's incredibly pathetic that it has to be us. My friend and I made 50 signs. We should have made 200. We're not affiliated with any group. We are two American fathers out here to fight for our children's freedoms. Keep coming out. Keep coming out. Don't let them silence us. Thank you. I just want to let you guys know, I'm another patriot. We're from Indiana. We're here with you. America is with you, and Hoosiers are with you. Look around. We have red, white, and blue flags. Red, white, and blue everywhere. We pledge allegiance in school, red, white, and blue. But then when we step as adults into these courtrooms, behind these judges, behind these people, there's a yellow color attached to that flag. Who authorized the yellow touching that flag? Not in that Title IV. Title IV flag does not say, U.S. Code, nothing about a gold fringe on that flag. That flag does not represent us. Inside this building, every governor's building, there's a yellow flag, yellow fringe that touches that flag. It does not represent us. The police are meant to take us out of common law, the ground you stand on, common law, law of God, and put us in admiralty law of the sea, where you fight your wars in the neutral ports. Whitmer doesn't stand for you, us. They stand for something else. Hoorah! All right, folks. Well, hey, this weather has not been kind to us today, but we've made our point. We've had a great turnout here. We've heard from some great speakers. We will not be silenced by the governor's executive orders. We have a constitutional right, and no emergency powers can trump the Constitution of the state of Michigan or the Constitution of the United States. There will be much more to do in the coming months to reclaim our liberty, so please visit us at MichiganUnitedForLiberty.com, where you can sign up so that we can contact you. We can let you know about future events. We can recruit volunteers for organizing in their precincts, in their neighborhoods, in their cities. So please go to MichiganUnitedForLiberty.com. We do want to wrap it up, though, because we've got some electronic equipment here, and it is coming down pretty hard. So thank you all for coming. We appreciate you. Feel free to stay. Feel free to stay, but I do want to put the PA system back. So thanks again, everybody. Appreciate y'all, and we'll keep you posted on anything that's coming up. Want to say one more thing?
Great. Thanks for coming. One more thing. The barber Carl in Owasso, there will be a rally in support of him Wednesday at noon. So if you guys can make it there, please come out. I stand with Carl. I hope you guys stand with him too. Thanks for coming.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Quite an impressive turnout, as it turned out. I guess they had closed the highway down. That's why people were late getting here. I don't know if this was a tactic to try to keep people away from the protest or not, but it didn't work. People piled in here despite a massive thunderstorm. I don't know how much you can see, but the rain is just absolutely pouring here. And yet you have all these people out here standing in the pouring rain to express their disdain and their extreme anger over what's happening in the state of Michigan right now. So that's about it from here. I'm going to get out of the rain, get back into some dry area. But thanks for tuning in. Till next time.